I think different countries, community movement may have different priorities, but at the end of the day, the goal remains the same, which is to get back our rights that were snatched away from us just because our gender identity or our sexual orientation and preference are different than yours. Because I think that it's not about us being LGBTQ, it's about us being human. It's our human rights that have been taken away from us just because we are the alphabets that's out there. It's a Talibanization of the country. Back in the 80s, we were the first country in Southeast Asia to conduct gender-affirming surgery.
Yeah.
And look at us now. Nothing.
Transition was something that we did. Being trans or transsexual as it was then was an action, and the key verb was to do. And trans is no longer an activity, it's become an identity. And it's based on feelings, how someone perceives themselves and how they want others to perceive them. And the verb to do has been replaced by the verb to be, and facts have been replaced by feelings. When it comes down to feelings, if feelings contradict, if feelings are inconsistent, whose feelings actually prevail? That comes down to power. Inevitably, people feel vulnerable, they feel insecure, and they can feel marginalized. And I think we need to stop and understand the situation and have a rethink. I want to see a return to people being allowed to be individuals rather than having an imposed ideology on us about a gender identity, which I don't believe we do.
Conversation is the most important thing in the LGBT movement. And of course, we see a lot of hatred language right now on the internet. We all need to go back to the community, go back to our family. It's much more difficult to start a conversation about LGBT in so-called, we say, traditional Asian family. We can coexist together. We can find some way to let our traditions and our so-called LGBT individuals or our special life experience to exist together. This is very important for our mental health and also for our dignity. I think the civil society is really important, and also the education.
We have a conservative government that decided 3 years ago that LGBT people are the main enemy of Hungarian society. The political activities really polarized Hungarian public opinion about LGBT people. Ever since Hungarian LGBT people started to become visible, a very strong and extreme opposition became stronger. So there were violent attacks. The far-right movement became very strong. Now they are also in the parliament. The other side of society has started to become much more accepting. The Hungarian LGBT plus movement is very much human rights based and non-violent. I don't think we will become militant, but we have to have a very strong presence.
So as soon as we use the term hijra, the conversation continued. But as soon as we use the word transgender, say, for example, there was this mental block that this now becomes a Western conversation because LGBTQI, all the terms are in English. The conversations we had to be contextualized. Key sort of experience for me has been talking in a way that people understand and not coming from a position where we say, or I know better than you because I am using the politically correct terms. Everybody's coming from different levels of awareness, different knowledge of language and different cultural, socio-political contexts. So we are gatekeeping those safe spaces. We're saying it's a safe space for people who are like me. Safe spaces, I believe, need to evolve into braver spaces where we invite people with different lived experiences, different perspectives, and who have genuine curiosity